Okay, they have finally done it, and I'm talking about two things right here. Finally, we have seen the Edmonton Oilers pull off a victory, and finally, we have seen Matvei Michkov score his first and second NHL goals here tonight. It is 10:12 p.m. at night as I'm recording this audio. This game was a late one. My goodness, 7 p.m. PST start time, 8 p.m. Edmonton local time start, and the game ends at 11-something p.m. at night. This was a long one. This was an overtime. There were a lot of breaks even before the game went over to OT. But at the end of the day, the Edmonton Oilers have finally gotten themselves a win. The odds-on favorite, the scouts and the analysts' favorite, the Stanley Cup predicted favorites for this season have finally, after a bunch of losses in a row, won a game. And it comes in a pretty good comeback capacity here against the Philadelphia Flyers. And the game was interesting because the Oilers did not hold the lead in this one for any period of time. They were trailing the entire time. In fact, they had themselves a 2-0 deficit in the first period, courtesy of one Matvei Michkov. They had to come back, they had to claw back, they had to get through a bunch of obstacles, including some disallowed goals, and a whole bunch of calls that did not go their way. This was a crazy game. But let's kick things off with the first two goals of the night scored by Matvei Michkov. Goal number 1 and goal number 2 on his NHL career, both on the power play, and both assisted by Morgan Frost, so good on him for getting involved here. You had yourselves the first goal of Michkov's scored as the puck is loose on the side of the goal. Michkov then puts it back on the goal, and then he kind of jams away at it under the goalie's pads. Now, I saw a lot of people saying that this first Michkov goal was goalie interference. People were using the Michael Artyom goal from earlier today against the Canucks as a comparison. Hey, look at that. Artyom pushed Shilov's pad and in, and the puck was there. That was disallowed. Why does this Michkov goal count? It was almost the same thing. Well, there were some very small differences. I do think that Michkov, when he is jamming away at it, the primary contact of his stick when he puts the puck in the net is stick to puck, rather than stick to the pad. Obviously, if you look at it, he's not avoiding the pad, like the pad is there, but part of the movement, the primary touch and the primary contact that the stick had was onto the puck, and Michkov saw it for a split second that it was in. He celebrated. Even the Oilers on the ice didn't realize that it was in, and then upon video review it was in. A lot of people saying, oh, whether or not that actually was a good goal, whether or not it should have been goalie interference, but it counts. It's 1-0, and then shortly after, on another power play opportunity, Frost sends it over to Michkov. He is on that right side, and he one-times it on goal. A really heavy slugger type of one-timer shot. He really gets down on one knee and forces it through Skinner there, making it 2-0 Philadelphia to open up this game. A lot of Oilers fans, all doom and gloom. We had spoken about doom and gloom in the Vancouver video earlier in today's show, but hey, you want to talk about Western Canadian cities that are depressed over their hockey team? Vancouver, definitely up there. Edmonton, at the end of the first period, definitely up there too. That didn't last for too long, though, because in the second period, all it took was 6 minutes for Henrique to get the Oilers on the board and to break the walls down. Samuel Ersson finally gets beat. As the puck gets thrown out into the middle of the ice, it deflects over to open space, and Henrique comes right in and backhands it up and over the goalie's shoulder. It's 2-1, but the Oilers are alive and kicking. Give it a few more minutes, and eventually you have Connor Brown finally scoring his first on the year to tie things up. It's a really nice passing play from Darnell Nurse over to Jeff Skinner, who's in the slot. Skinner draws a few more sticks to him before sending it over to Brown, who fires it on goal, and it beats Samuel Ersson. 2-2 is the score with 6 minutes to go in the second period. But right before the period came to an end, this is where the Flyers got their momentum back. You see, immediately after the goal, you had a whole bunch of power plays given over to the Philadelphia Flyers. Kulak, Bouchard, Draisaitl, all within the span of a few minutes. There were multiple man advantage opportunities, and I was sitting here thinking, hey, Michkov got 2 power play goals in the first period. Give this man the puck, and he's going to cook, and he's going to get himself a hat trick, and it's going to be a great story to go alongside of the Calder race that we had talked about earlier this morning. Well, the Flyers were unable to capitalize on their extra power play opportunities. Matvei Michkov had some chances, but other than that, the Oilers' defense was tightening things up really well. At the end of the third period, though, at even strength, for crying out loud, Igor Zamula sends it over to Bobby Brink on the right wall, and he ends up throwing it towards the goal. It goes off of something, it's tipped right by Stuart Skinner, and the Flyers have a lead once again. This time it's 3-2. This happened with 23 seconds left in the second period. We thought initially that it was Jet Luchenko who tipped it out in front, but upon video review, no, it wasn't. Bobby Brink's pass from the boards ends up going off of the stick of Matthias Ekholm and in. That is the primary contact that deflects the puck by the Edmonton goalie, and it's 3-2 as a result. In the third period, this is where things got crazy because the Oilers just started ramping up the pressure. The Flyers were coming back with a lot of individualistic plays. I noticed this particularly in the third, that the majority of the Flyers' offensive opportunities came on the rush, and it came with one of these younger guys just trying to dangle through like 2 or 3 or 4 Oilers at a time. You had Owen Tippett with a really nice rush chance. You had some other guys trying to dangle their way through kind of ambitious plays, not really the smartest plays to make in my opinion. But you could definitely see that these guys wanted to do something, and they were really gutsy kind of plays. They didn't pay off, of course, because the Oilers were tightening things down defensively towards the end here, and eventually, the Oilers formula, just outscore your problems, it starts bubbling up and coming to a boil. The Oilers are dancing around in the offensive zone. McDavid goes down the boards to Draisaitl, into the middle, McDavid back in front, and it is Evan Bouchard one more time, who squeaked over to the left side, and he ends up firing it right through Samuel Ersson, tying the game up with a few minutes to go, and finally breaking down the walls. That is Draisaitl's first assist on the year, Bouchard's first goal, and Connor McDavid's third assist of the season. He is still yet to score a goal this year. And then in overtime, things get a little bit crazy because Connor McDavid ends up tripping Travis Sanheim as Sanheim is coming in towards the Oilers goalie, but for some reason, there's no call. Sanheim falls, he goes into the boards, McDavid picks the puck back up, there's a rush the opposite way, McDavid has a breakaway, he gets stopped by Ersson, and then on the rebound, he just sends it out in front to Leon Draisaitl, who puts it in, hesitates a little bit, and then shoots it by the Flyers goaltender. The Flyers were upset. They were really pissed off that there was no call on that Travis Sanheim trip, and it ends up going into the back of the net for Edmonton. So all those Oilers fans that stayed up till 11 p.m. to watch this game in the arena, they're going home happy at least. A lot happier than some of the other Western Canadian hockey fans just a few miles west on the Vancouver Pacific coast. So yeah, there's that rivalry being forced over here. I wanted to talk about this game because I watched it. It was on my TV screen, and because Matvei Michkov ended scoring his first 2 NHL goals. But the Oilers winning, that's probably the biggest story out of this one, to be honest, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Oilers beating the Philadelphia Flyers. It is 4-3 in overtime. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.